Hey y'all, my name is Shan. Welcome to Cozy Womb Podcast. This is a series for Black fathers because Black fathers matter. Black fathers matter to me. Black fathers matter to my children. Black fathers matter when it comes to my brothers, my mentors, my friends. They matter because they set the tone for who our children look up to. They set the tone for how men, women, children, and other elderly people feel protected, feel like, everything they've struggled for was for a good cause because they've seen who they've become. And I want to, I just want to shine a light on them and hear from them in a perspective that sometimes goes unheard because no one cares to ask. Sometimes people look at fathers as if, oh, that's nothing. They're supposed to do that. Why would we, thank you for doing something you're automatically supposed to do? You shouldn't look for any, praise or any thank yous for that. That's standard. That's the basics. Do what you're supposed to do. But when you have a father that's there, that's consistent, that's available, that's attentive, that's caring, that's thoughtful, versus an absent father, versus a father that thinks his life and his now is more important than the child's future. There's a difference. There's a clear difference. And I just want to show appreciation. So this series, I've interviewed many fathers from different places, different backgrounds. And I really just want to pick their brains with different questions. So thank you for listening to Cozy Womb Podcast, and I hope you enjoy.
Hey, it's Anya Dula, and I am the host of Intercultured with Anya Dula. Intercultured with Anya Dula is a podcast that focuses on motherhood, culture, birth work, and travel. And it's just a place for women to come together to discuss our philosophies on motherhood, to discuss our work and birth work, if that's what we do, but mainly to bring women of all different cultures together so that we can talk about how we mother, how we #do motherhood, so that we can learn from one another and learn to love each other. That's really what it's all about. I hope you'll join us. Intercultured with Anya Dula podcast is available on all the major podcast stations. I hope you'll join us. Can't wait to connect.
Here we go.
Back to the show. Right. So we're just gonna you are episode 22.
Okay.
For Cozy Womb for Black Fathers Matter series. I wasn't expecting all these dads, but I'm happy.
That's a good thing that it's showing up.
Yes. All these dads showing up, which is evident in all these dads I'm talking to where they really show up in their kids' lives. But that is not something that's portrayed. So
Absolutely.
we're just going to dig into that. I have a few questions here. You can elaborate if you like. If you want to ask questions, that's fine. So let's just get started.
Ooh.
So you are from where?
I am from Columbus, Ohio.
Columbus, Ohio. Okay. And what is your current age?
I'm 35. I'm about to turn 36 in 3 days on June 30th.
Nice.
Yeah. It's a beautiful thing.
Happy early birthday.
Thank you. I am. I look forward to the years because I understand that some people, they don't get to see 36, so it's a blessing. So I'm excited for it.
That's good. How do you feel? How old do you feel?
I feel 36, and that's okay. I feel I've lost 30 pounds in 3 months. And so, yeah, I've been putting in work in this pandemic and trying to stay in shape mentally, but also physically. So my body feels good, but I feel good in my mind. My mind feels 36, and not being in my 20s and having the insecurities in my 20s, but being comfortable with right where I am at 36, if that makes sense at all. So
that's good.
Yeah.
That's good. I like that. And how many children do you father?
I have 2 children, ages 9 and 7.
Okay. Are they both
a boy and a girl?
Oh, boy and a girl. Okay, so you got the balance. You are balanced out.
By balanced out, you mean I'm done? Yes, I am done having. That's it.
Me too.
That's it. I'm like 2. With the first child, my son, it was a world changer for me, but also realize how much it takes to have multiple children. And I know at 2, I'm at my limit. And plus, as an educator and what I do, I have 2 biological children, but I have so many, children in the community. And so my sort of need for parenthood and my wants, I'm good with the 2 that I have and the 100 that are in the community. That's more than enough at this point.
Yeah, I'm completely with you on that. I didn't get a boy and a girl, but I don't feel like that gamble's worth a third. So I'm gonna keep the 2 girls I got.
2, like my most people are like, why don't you go for 3? Nah, because I don't want to get a minivan. I don't want to I still want some room in the back of the car. Like I want one spot to at least keep my book bag or something. Like I'm selfish in that way. I'm selfish. Like I need a spot. And so, but now 2 kids is wonderful. I think that kids are such a blessing. And as a father, I'm still amazed when I look at them each morning, like, oh my gosh, I have kids. And there's still a newness to it. And it's still every day is a new experience with them. And even more so during this, pandemic in which we were home by ourselves. I was their teacher. I was their father. I was, all these things on a heightened level for 3 months in a crisis. And so it was a life-changing experience in the past 3 months being with them. I learned so much, and hopefully they learn from me.
That's good. You got to take the negatives and turn it into something positive.
I did, and it was I had to make that choice early because I spent the first 2 weeks of pandemic life frustrated at the world. And I just had stress and anxiety. And I had to make up my mind, which is why I took up running. I was like, I need to do something that's going to relieve stress. And so running 5 miles a day keeps my mind fresh, but also allowed me to focus on something, work on my body, but also have that energy to teach my kids. And so the time that I spent at home with them, I was a teacher, and we would have our lessons, and we would learn and see them progress. Even as an educator, to see them progress, it was incredible. To see them grow and learn, it was amazing.
So running became your decompression.
Running became I decompressed by running, but also, I told myself, like, I don't want to die because I'm heavy. I don't want to have to fight sleep apnea. There's some things that I have in control of my life. Even if the world, as a Black man, even if the world is coming at me, there's some things I can control when it comes to my safety and my livelihood. One of them is my physical health. And at the weight I was last year, I was at like 235 pounds, and I felt it. I wasn't sleeping well. My body hurt, and I just ate. I was eating too much fast food and sugars and snacks and things like that. So I lost some weight last year, and this year, being at home with the pandemic, I bought up all the snacks in the first couple of weeks, and I knew I was going to eat them all. So I knew I had to go run. If I wasn't going to run, I was going to eat them all. And so running's been a blessing to shed some of this weight and just to feel better, and knowing that I'm preparing myself for the greater move later on down the line, my body feels so much better.
That's good. So my first question for you is, as a Black father, what choice do you make every day to fight the stereotypes that are out there in society? Like, what is like one main choice you make every day to do to fight the stereotype?
You know, it's I make a choice, like, especially with my daughter. I spend a lot of time investing in her. We have very similar personalities, and it's important as a father that I understand my daughter. It's important that I understand even what she likes to eat, what clothes she likes. I mean, we go shopping, we cook, we bicker, we argue, but we love each other. And so I make a choice to get on their level, and especially get on her level and see life in a different perspective and from her perspective. And because I don't want to be the domineering parent that crushes your passions and crushes your dreams and essentially uses my parental position to crush who you are as a young woman, or even my son, a young man. I make a choice each day to get on their level and understand them as human beings. Like, even if you're 9 and 7, I need to understand who you are, because I need to learn from you. And my fatherhood is less about a position, it's more about the purpose. Like, yeah, I'm your father, I'm your dad, and that's my position, but if I'm really going to take it to that next level, I really have to know you, and that's the purpose of this whole thing.
Right. And while you're getting to know them, they're getting to know you. It works.
They're learning from me, and they're picking up my good habits and my bad habits, and that is some of the frustration of parenthood.
Yeah.
Which is why I mean, we both know we have to. It's frustrating, but that's where it's not about the perfection, it's about the purpose. Like, they'll get it, and I'm going to screw some things up, but they'll get the overall point of what I'm trying to do.
When do you feel the most love as a father from your family?
You know, I think I feel the most love each night. Like, we are a family that's big on I love yous. Like, I mean, we say I love you and we kiss every night. Every night they know that dad is going to tuck them in, mom is going to tuck them in. And no matter how the day went, no matter if we got along, because there's some days we just don't see eye to eye. Even as a 9-year-old and 7-year-old and parents, there's some days we just don't see it. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, at the beginning of the day, in the middle of the day, and at the end of the day, you will always get an I love you. Mm-hmm. And I love hearing that, you know, 9 years later, 7 years later, you know, I love you, Dad, or I love you. Can you come and tuck me in? Like, there's something so refreshing. It's almost, they show so much grace. Children show so much grace to parents. Mm-hmm. And I learned from that. Like, how do you love me when I didn't necessarily do the right things today? Mm-hmm. How do you, when I said this to you, I shouldn't have said it. How do you love me? And so children can teach adults.
Exactly.
Adults can teach children. Like, it's a learning experience. It's mutual. And so I look forward to those moments at the end of the night. Like, everyone's tucked in, everyone has an I love you. That brings me joy.
That's good. What was growing up with your dad like?
Growing up, my father was it was good. I mean, I learned a lot from my father. My father was a hard-working individual who was in our house, in our lives. He made a choice to be better than his father. And my grandfather is someone who recently passed. And he died last month. And I was at his funeral. And I told my father, like, I don't know how to feel because I don't know him. And because there's nothing, I can't think of one thing that he passed down to me when it comes to knowledge, when it comes to conversation. He made a choice to check out of all of our lives. And so there was no connection. And so especially as the patriarch of the family, to live to almost 90 and yet you don't pass anything down because you hoard on to it. Mm-hmm. And so my father, having grown up with my grandfather, made a choice to be better than that. And to invest in his kids' life, into my brother and I's life, and to take us places, and to get to know us as individuals. And so life with my father was good. We had our ups, we had our downs, but one of the things I can count on is that even as he's 60 and I'm in my 30s, I have a better understanding of my father now than what I ever have, in terms of what it's like to be a father, and to understand that ultimately your children see you as Superman, but they almost have to see your Clark Kent moments and realize that you were more Clark Kent than Superman, and that crushes your children. But it crushes them, but it's healthy for you, because you don't have to live up to that standard of perfection. You can embrace your Clark Kent in your moments of humanity. And so I see my father in a lot different light than what I did back then, and I'm so appreciative of him.
That's good. I don't know. It's just like a natural thing to think that, your parents know everything. And like my 6-year-old, she always asks me, like, how do you know everything? I just I don't know everything. I just know more than you at this point. Yeah. But your kids are going to get to a point where they know more than you, and then you're going to have to trade. You're going to have to become the child, and they're going to have to become the teacher. And that's just how life is set up. To just have a lot of wisdom and choose to keep it to yourself is very selfish. But again, your dad made a choice to be better than his father, which made you a better father, and then your other siblings. So it's kind of like, thank you to your dad for being that change that made you become better as the generation went on.
Absolutely. Like he'll tell my brother and I that we are much better fathers than he was. And I think it's common for fathers and really for parents to compare each other, and say, like, even with my kids early on, like, I want you to be a better father than I am. The comparison game isn't healthy. Like, he did what he did with the tools that he had, and he has to embrace it. And I think that's something he's learning to embrace. And that's something that I'm going to have to learn to embrace as a father. I don't have all the tools. That's part of the frustrating elements of fatherhood and really parenthood. You don't have all of the tools, but the tools that I did have, I tried to give to you. And if I didn't have the tools, I tried to build a community of people around you that had tools that were different from mine. And you're always going to lack something, but parenthood requires that faith of knowing that your community can supply what you don't have. And so I'm greatly appreciative of my father for setting a legacy of good fathers, of men that want to be fathers, and not just a father, but a dad and a loving father and a person of wisdom within the household. Like I'm very much so appreciative.
Good. How do you want your kids to remember you?
I want my kids to remember me as a person that was willing to apologize. That being a father, I want them to know that I make mistakes, and that's okay. And that when you make mistakes, you can learn from them. That they don't have to be so crippling, that they can be actually tools of growth and tools of humility. I want them to look at me and see like they have a chance to meet my students, and they're always amazed at how many people know me in the community, and they know that I'm an important person in people's lives, and they like that. And so I really want them to know that, hey, I make mistakes, I'll apologize, but also I believe in people, man. I believe in investing in people. I'm a person of impact. I talk to them each day about making wise choices and also finding ways to make impact within their classroom, within their with their classmates, and changing somebody's day. I'm trying to teach them that you can change someone's day by your actions. You could change someone's life by taking that moment in which you see that someone needs help, and you can change their life, change their outlook just by sharing your heart. And so I hope to see that I am a dad of humility and a dad of investment. Like I try, I really do. I try to be humble, and I want to invest in people.
Just you give more to them and you give more to others, so they can see that in no way, shape, or form you were selfish while living.
Yeah, they I want them to see, like, even today, I bought my daughter some shoes, and like in the look that she had on her face, like, oh my gosh, she bought me these shoes. They're like basketball shoes. They're black and pink, Steph Curry's, and they light up because she likes things that light up, and like that's what a father is. Like, to me, it's not about the shoes. It's about knowing that you like black and pink, and that you like things that light up. And it's not about the gift, but I know you as a person. I know you as my daughter. I know that you like this food, and that you like this color, and you want to wear this, and like, I know you as a person. You're more than just my child. You are a human being. You are a person that I need to know, and that I need to learn how to figure out and embrace. So yeah.
That's good. How has being a father helped you discover your best quality?
You know, it's done both. It's helped discover my best qualities and my worst qualities. And so, it magnifies the fact that I get frustrated too easily, that I am a control freak, and I get that from my parents, and that frustrates me even more, because it's like, that's the negative thing that I inherited from perhaps both of them. And so I have that, and so it highlights the things that I don't do well. But being a father also highlights the fact that I'm a person that loves, man. I love, and I'm a quiet person. I'm not the most expressive person, but I love my people. And they know that dad will go to the store in the middle of the night for some Lunchables. They know that they know that I will go. It's not even the extra mile. I'll just do what I need to do as a father to make sure that they have everything that they need. When a couple years back, I used to believe that I needed to teach them so much in the event that I die, in the event that I pass away unexpectedly. So life was all about moving quickly, and let me show you this, and let me teach you a lesson every single day, and it being just so regimented. And I learned like a year ago, I have to slow life down, and that I can't necessarily live and give them advice for the fear that I would die early, but I need to live a life that's slow enough to appreciate the moments, and to teach them at a pace that does not burn them out.
Yeah.
Because even in wanting to be a good father, sometimes you can want to be a good father, but your message doesn't come across that way, because your delivery is too brash, or your delivery is too hard, and everything turns out to be a chore. I'm learning how to step back and not allow life to be a chore for them and for me, because we both don't benefit from it.
Right. Can't have us all burnt out at the same time.
Man, listen, I tell them all the time. What's funny is, like, I tell them, like, I know I'm getting on your nerves because I'm getting on my own nerves. Like, I know when I'm getting on my nerves, like, okay, Aaron, shut up. You don't need to say anything else. And still, I will say something else. And it's like, grow up, Aaron. Grow up. Like, that's parenthood where you're not doing it perfectly. And their grace, they have so much grace. Like I said earlier, their grace is still like, you know what, Dad, I love you. And I love you, even though you make mistakes. I love you even though you don't always say the right thing. I love you even though you get frustrated. Like, I love you. And they know the same thing for me. Like, I love you even if you don't do this. Like, I just love you. And no conditions, without conditions, I just love who you are. And so, those are the moments that are so frustrating, but they're so teachable for both kids and parents. And I try to embrace those.
Yeah. My girls, they always come to me like, Mom, don't worry about it. It's okay. just like, thank you.
Yeah. No. Like, I don't want you to be more mature than I am. No.
Right.
No.
Oh man.
Weird. But it shows that like that they are getting the message, and I hope that they get the message earlier than I did. Mm-hmm. Like the amount of grace that they show people, or the amount of love, like my kids love to be around their cousins, and they miss their cousins because they're around them so much. Their cousins, and they almost grow up like siblings. They're that close, and so I love that because that's the environment and community that I surrounded them with, and kids are amazing, man. It's just amazing to be a father. 9 years later, 7 years later, like I still learn something from them each and every day. Yeah,
that's good stuff. Can you give some good dad advice for a new dad?
New fathers, it's an incredible time to be a new father.
Listen.
Like we are in a point in history in which we need fathers to create leaders. We need mothers to create leaders, and we need fathers to create leaders. And so this is the perfect time to be a new father. But it's also a great time to make a choice to live in anxiety, live in depression. And being a father is almost, because we don't talk about it much. We talk about the great aspects of being a father, but we don't talk about those moments in which that you're losing your mind, or that you don't have all your tools, and that you don't have a community of support, and you're drowning in your own decisions, and we don't talk about those moments. Mm-hmm. And so I would encourage a new father to learn how to slow down, and to learn how to embrace yourself, embrace self, even more so do you embrace fatherhood. Fatherhood takes some time to embrace, and you won't get it the first day out because you're often too critical of yourself to really embrace the role of fatherhood. And so slow down, build up a support group, a community of men that are fathers that can help walk you through the process and the pains and the purposes of fatherhood. Those are hard to find, mm-hmm. but they're out there. And so whether it's a podcast, whether it is a meeting group, whether it's a brother, an uncle, a grandfather, a father, or whoever it may be, you got to find your source of people that can positively invest in your life, because fatherhood can be an extremely lonely place, in an isolating place, even for the good dads, especially probably for the dads that want to be good. And that's so odd. But you have to find your community of support and your resources of people that will pour into your life.
I think what you just said poured into this next question. So fill in the blank. More dads need awareness in these three things. So what are those three things that more dads need awareness in?
Mental health. Mental health. We have to. We need more awareness when it comes to what's going on in our minds. I think Black men have been through so much. We fought fights that we're fighting fights that we don't even know are there. That historically we are reaping. We're reaping the cause. We're reaping. We're fighting a fight that our grandfathers and our fathers and our great grandfathers have fought mentally. And so we have a lot going on in our minds, and we have to be able to sort of piece through and walk through that mental health bit and that mental health piece, because as Black men, we don't venture down that road because it's too scary, and it's still taboo for Black men to get therapy.
Yeah.
For Black men to talk about what's going on. We rather talk about LeBron and the NBA finals and everything else aside from what's going on the inside of us. Mm-hmm. And so we definitely need more awareness when it comes to mental health. I think we also need more self-awareness. Like, who are we as people? Who are we as men? Not what society says that we are, but who exactly am I? It took me into my 30s to really embrace who I am. And because I felt like I never really fit in. I was always my sort of mindset is different, and I grew up more middle class, way more middle class than a lot of my black friends. So in some ways I wasn't black enough to be black, but I dang sure wasn't white.
Right.
And so it's like it took me to my 30s to realize, like, maybe it's not for me to fit into society, but maybe I'm just okay being me. And you know, the quirky side of me, the quiet side of me, and the introverted side of me, the artistic side of me, like all of these things are me. And instead of running from them, I should embrace them. And so we definitely need to have more of a awareness of self. And I also think that we need an awareness of just how powerful we are. As fathers, we are so powerful in the investment into the lives of our children and in our communities. We are powerful individuals. I think oftentimes the world tries to strip us down of our strength, but we are powerful, and we have the opportunity to change and influence lives around us. But will we do it? Will we do it? And so I hope that men embrace the power that lies within them.
Mm-hmm. Like even you saying the mental health part, you know, things black men fight each day. Even when black men do talk amongst each other about it, it's in like a tease fashion. Like, no, your dad this, X, Y, and Z, or your mom this, or you can't do this. And it's kind of like, are you teasing because that's where you're comfortable at in the comedy of it? Or are you teasing because you want to deflect the question being asked to yourself because you're uncomfortable with speaking about it? And I see it with my nephews where they tease each other, and most people would say, oh, it's a boy thing, but the things that they're teasing each other about or are like things that they're noticing about their personalities that are different.
Yeah.
And so like as an aunt, I'd be like, be quiet, or like stop, talking to him about X, Y, and Z, because when as a young boy, if you don't really know how to go through your emotions, that can blow up into something that it doesn't need to blow up into. So I try to get to the head of that issue, and I'm sure you see that dealing with a lot of young kids also, where they have issues that they don't know how to tackle, that someone may tease them about, and you just see them like building up before they pop. And I try to get ahead of that.
The pain, I mean, it's real because, I think sometimes we don't know that we're in pain. Mm-hmm. And we're like, why am I waking up heavy? Because especially as black men, black women, we are birthed in a country we are almost birthed in pain. Mm-hmm. And we don't know, we're birthed into trauma. And so our hearts are so heavy. And so I see things like that, and it breaks my heart. I went down to, for Father's Day, I went out to dinner, and then I went, to a protest, to the George Floyd protest in our downtown in Columbus. And for me, it was just an observation of fatherhood. I was looking around, and I saw young black men, young black women in pain. And I saw passion. And they're aware of what happened to George Floyd, but they're reacting they're reacting in pain, and almost doing things to incite. I hate using that word, but almost doing things of self-harm because they don't know how to react out of their pain. They don't know what else to do with their pain.
Did you see, because what you're saying right now is basically what this is. Did you see the 3 generations of black men that were at a protest? I can't remember what state it was in, where the older guy was like, riot, burn it down. And then you had the young teenager that's just like filled up with all this aggression and pain and just anger. And then you have the one in the middle that's like probably in his late 30s, early 40s, that's just like, can't you see that that's not helping anything.
Yeah.
Can't you see that we're not getting anywhere? He's still mad at stuff he went through at your age. You're mad at things that he went through at his age. We can't do it this way. There has to be a different way. And that was basically what you're saying.
It's powerful.
It's crazy.
It's powerful. I mean, I saw that, and it's like, as a 36-year-old, about to be 36-year-old man, the reason why I go to protests is to have those conversations. Because when I go, and maybe some of the days that I went, I don't see men my age there. And maybe we're at work. And I know that there's some days in which men do show up, and maybe we're too busy. Maybe sometimes we feel like we're too old to protest, but I go down there so that young men and women can not only see my face, they can see my gray hair, they can see my beard, the salt and pepper, but they can also have a conversation with me, and I can have a conversation with them, because there's wisdom that has to be shared. I told my students that I'd rather march with you by my side than have to march with you with your name on my t-shirt and a hashtag. Like, I'm trying to stop hashtags. I don't want to see any more young black, old black hashtags or rest in peace whoever. That's why I march. Like, this is more than just a hashtag for me. This is as I say, like, this is not a sprint. This is a marathon. I've been in this marathon for all my life. And so we have to, as fathers, we have to be willing to respect the passion of the youth, but also share some wisdom, share the wisdom that we have within, and sort of help them guide that. Because we talked earlier about burnout. That passion right there, that sometimes is displayed through anger, will either burn those kids out of life or cause them to do something stupid to have someone take their life. And that's heartbreaking.
Yeah. That was when I saw that, I'm just like, I don't have nothing to say, because it is to the point where we need another plan. But the same passion that the kids today had is the same passion that people in like their 40s and 30s had at their age.
Yeah.
And then another issue is there are people in their 50s, 40s, and late 30s that can share wisdom, but for some reason they feel like, one, it doesn't matter, two, why do I have to, and I don't know them and I don't owe them anything.
Yeah.
So you have a gap of men and women that have no guidance, that either have to want to research it or want to be angry through it. And that's the issue.
I'm going to say something that's probably going to get me in trouble, since we're talking about fathers, and we're talking about black fathers. But I think that sometimes what happens in the black community is that we don't, like you said, we don't necessarily freely give advice at times. We feel like we always have to earn everything. That if I give it to you for free, you didn't earn it. And so we almost allow people not necessarily to drown. We won't allow people to drown, but we don't mind if the water gets about nose high so that you feel like you're drowning, and then we'll come and rescue you with the advice. And it's more in a way of, I told you so, or why didn't you do this?
Yeah.
Like, we have to get, I don't even know if it's getting back, but we have to invest early. The investment that I'm talking about as a father, in terms of sitting down with my kids and apologizing at 2 and 1, will be tools that they can use when they're 30 and 31.
Right.
Like, if you don't see yourself as a vessel to invest early, it's going to be difficult to do it late. And those that never have, never will. I fully believe that those people, those fathers and those men who make a choice not to invest, maybe they don't have anything to give. And maybe it's better that you don't invest. Maybe you need to learn how to. But we have to do something, because we're locking up wisdom, and perhaps we're locking up wisdom, the wisdom that we have, out of pain. But we have it in us.
Yeah.
We have it in us. We just have to share it.
Yeah. That nobody didn't give me anything mentality is gonna scar like 3 generations of people who could have stopped something they wasn't supposed to be doing the first time, not the 4th time. And it's just unfortunate that some people do think like that, but it is a decision. And I think we all need to be like on the same focus, because other cultures, they don't even give their children the room to fail. They don't give them the space to think otherwise. And even if you think they're going to fall onto something that's halfway to the fall.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, why do we feel like we have to make each other hit rock bottom and then wait and then see somebody needs help and then wait for them to come to you and be like, I need help?
I think because we look at each other as labor. And I think that's one of the byproducts of being enslaved, in that we look at each other as, you have to work hard for this. And then when you say those phrases like, you have to work hard for this, you're saying that you have to labor for this. Yeah. And white people have consistently looked at Black Americans and Black men and Black women as labor. And we almost take on that same mindset of, you have to fight for this, you have to work for this, you have to do all these things. Why can't I just give it to you? Mm-hmm. Why do I make you jump through all the hoops that I had to jump through? What pleasure would I get out of that? Mm-hmm. And so we have such a labor mentality of hard work as opposed to smart work. At my job, one of the first compliments I feel like a lot of white Americans give Black Americans and people of color is they're such a hard worker. They don't talk about our mind. They don't talk about the college we went to, but it's always something labor focused. Mm-hmm. And so that's been an eye opener for me. Like, yo, I'm not a hard worker. I'm smart. I'm intelligent. And these are the things I have to show my children, that you don't have to work hard for everything. Working hard is not working smart. Mm-hmm. And some things should just be given to you because it's free advice. I love you.
Right.
Yeah. Yep.
Well put. What are 4 values that help you be the best father to your kids?
Honesty.
My favorite.
Honesty. As a father, man, I've screwed some things up. I just have. And there's nothing I can do to sort of erase that, but be honest and be honest and highlight my, bring up my highlights, but also bring up my downfalls, because I don't want them to go through some of the things that I went through. I would hate for them to hit a valley in their life, and then all of a sudden I come up to them and say, well, I went through the same thing too. You don't need to go here, and here's why. Like, you don't need to go down that road, and here's why. So being honest and transparent. I think another thing I value is family. I have a beautiful family and a family of support. My kids have aunts and uncles that are in their lives. Of course, they have a mother and father. They have grandparents. They have great grandparents. They have cousins. They have great aunts. Like they have such a community of family within 7 miles of one another that they value their family because their family values them. And so I'm a big family person. I love to get together with my family and just share and laugh and give them that support that they'll need. I think another value is investing in people. Just being a person, a leader that is willing to take the extra moment to change someone's day, and to have that power to change someone's day. My daughter likes to write cards and make cards up that say something like, I love you, I believe in you. And she'll walk around the store and hand them to people.
That's sweet.
And it's dope. It's like that stuff that I believe in. She gets that from me. Like, let me just hand out, I love you. And it's funny because sometimes people will be like, no, thank you, I don't want the card.
Mm-hmm.
And it frustrates her. Like, why don't they want my I love you card? And it's because their adult mind causes them to miss the moment. They miss the moment of change because we could become rigid in our ways. And I tell her, just find someone else. Find someone else. And so they both understand that they can create impact. And that's so important. And another thing that I value is freedom. I want them to be creatively free to be whoever they want to be. And I want them to have times in which they listen to me as their father, but also have times in which they listen to themselves as individuals, listen to their intuition, because I'm not always right. And so I want them to be free to walk in the path that they know lies within them. I can only see so far. And in my job, my role as a father is to help them see who they really are, but ultimately help them see for themselves. And so I want them to have that freedom to exist in the space they feel most alive, and not necessarily go for the job or the position or do this because it's the most clear path. I want them to take some steps of faith and really find out who they are as individuals and walk in their true purpose as my son and my daughter.
That's good. So my last question for you is something that I think a lot of Black fathers may face and may not know how to approach it. But is there any time in society as a Black father that you feel unseen or dismissed the most when it comes to like fathering your kids?
I mean, all the time. I mean, if that's it's either it's a mix. Okay, so I'm either going to be unseen or the spotlight is going to be on me too much. And so something as simple as going to the grocery store, and both of my children have lighter complexion than I do, and people will come up to them even though I'm walking by them, right by them, and they'll ask them, "Excuse me, are you too lost? Where's your father? Where are your parents?" That's not okay. That's not okay. And it's both Black people, it's both white people and Black people. And it's almost as a father, it's like, I'm not the help, I'm not their maid, I am their father, and it blows your mind that I am right here. And it's a shame and it's frustrating. And so oftentimes as a father, I can feel like I'm overlooked, or if I go up to my kid's school and the teachers don't address me, it's like, why aren't you addressing me? Well, you would rather address their mother. You would rather call their mother. I'm their father. Like, I can be number one on their emergency contact list. Yes. It's okay. He's okay with it. I work closer. It's okay. And so it can be frustrating, man. It could be really frustrating to be overlooked in society because ultimately I just want to be a good dad. I just want to be a good dad, man. And I think there are a lot of men out there that have to sort of embrace the challenges of being a father. As I said earlier, it's isolating. People aren't necessarily there to sort of help you through it. You don't have all the tools. Society overlooks you. Like, it's almost set up for you to fail. As a Black father, it's almost set up for you to fail. And that's not an excuse. That's not an excuse. But the system is almost set up for you to fail. But you have to fight through it, even if you are overlooked, even if people don't understand why you do certain things. I was buying my daughter some underwear at Target, and a lady came up and asked me, "What are you doing over here?" Yeah, I know, right? Like, I'm buying, like,
what?
I don't need to tell you. And she wants to get security. Cause I'm trying to buy, like, and so it's those are the elements of fatherhood, a Black fatherhood, that can be so frustrating. Like, I'm just trying to be a good father. Either you overlook me or you put the spotlight on me in a way that does not fit, and you're trying to highlight
something that's not happening.
Something that's not happening, something that's not close to happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, it could be frustrating, but you got to fight through it. It's just part of the path, and it hurts. You have to acknowledge the hurt in order to move on to a place of healing.
Ooh, because you think about that on the other side. Like, if I had a son and I was in the boys' underwear section, he would never question me. So it's a lot that Black men go through as fathers that's very unseen, unheard, and blindsided. And thank you for sharing that, because it just makes you think about, was there any time where you assume something about someone because in your mind they shouldn't be there?
Yep.
And it's just like
the skin complexion thing always gets me, because it's like, and I expect more out of Black folks. Like, I've probably had more African Americans walk up to my kids, say, where are your parents? Where's your parent?
Yeah.
And they're like, he's right here, like 1 foot away.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like dads are almost overlooked. We're and our roles are almost watered down, and there's some exceptional dads out there that want to do incredible works, but it can be frustrating. It just can be. I know women face another type of pressure. And together as Black men and Black women, we have to communicate these types of pressures that we face each and every day to work through and not tear us down, because we both face the wrath. Yeah.
I used to be the nanny or the babysitter for at least, I want to say, a year and a half of both of my girls. Mm-hmm. Because, maybe their hair looked like they should be of, this culture, or maybe they just look like they shouldn't have belonged to me. And then, when my friends would have them and I would be there, they'd be like, oh, your kids are so cute. And actually, she's a mom. And it's crazy. It's madness. But, I think the more we talk about it, the more, things like what you said is heard, then I think people have no way but to check themselves, because some things you don't need to say, some things you just need to sit back and observe, and you'll learn a lot more instead of just being ignorant. And I just want to say thank you for always sharing your insight on a Black Introvert podcast. It's like peeling away your layers of what you're learning about yourself by listening to your episodes. And as a father, it's a choice to always be better, and you're honestly always being honest about yourself through the podcast. So I'm just very grateful that you're just sharing, because a lot of men don't share.
No, thank you. Thank you. We just celebrated, I just celebrated a year doing the podcast, and it's I'm like, that's what's up. And 100 some odd episodes, and it's amazing. And I'm happy that I persevered, and I'm happy that people respond to it. Like, I never thought that people would listen to anything I had to say. Mm-hmm. And to hear people like, yo, I recognize that sounds like me. Yeah, man. I'm grateful, man. This is it's God, man. This is faith, and it's beautiful. So thank you.
That's good. Well, thank you for sharing with Cozy Womb Podcast. Hopefully, you can help some dads out there wondering if somebody's going through the same thing they're going through. The whole point of this is to share a Black man as a father's perspective, and I'm happy to do it, and I'm happy to do it with you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, talk to you later.
Bye.
Hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Please follow us. Follow us as in me. at Cozy Womb Pod on Twitter. Please follow the Facebook page at Cozy Womb Podcast. I need some feedback about these episodes. I've been doing episodes since 2018. I want to say March. And I feel like in 2018, it was a lot more feedback that I was getting from the episodes. And now I'm kind of really wondering, like, what do parents or soon-to-be parents or listeners need from, like, other parents? Or what do you want to know? Or what are you mostly curious about that you would like to be talked about that's not talked about enough? And if I have an experience with it, I would love to share it. I'm really curious on what is it that I haven't shared or I haven't done an episode. I feel like I've touched bases on most things. The only thing that I haven't touched base on purposely is women who have had miscarriages, because I've never experienced that. And I don't like to do episodes on things I haven't experienced because I don't know what that's like. But if you guys would want to share any feedback, please check out the Cozy Womb Podcast Facebook page and the Twitter. DM me on IG at Cozy Womb Pod. I answer my DMs frequently. If there's any podcasters out there or anyone that's interested in any type of branding of their, product, I don't mind adding it into the show. If that's something you're interested in, just please email me at cozywombbmama@gmail.com. Hope you guys enjoy the show. Would love your feedback. If this is a show that you're interested in, please subscribe. And please leave a review on Apple Podcasts app. Thank you. Bye.